One kitchen, two chefs, your choice. This is Boulder Bites. Each time, we'll take two delicious recipes and show you how you can make them yourselves with a little help from our Sky Chefs. Each of our chefs will be showing you how to make quick, easy, healthy, and above all, delicious meals no matter what you're hungry for. Each dish should take no more than 15 minutes to prepare, and they'll show you exactly what ingredients you'll need, how to prepare them, and how to serve to your family and friends, so that everyone can enjoy delicious, quick, and healthy food. Warning: the following recipes may require the use of sharp knives, boiling water, and hot grills and ovens. Pay close attention to the safety guides, make sure you have some oven gloves handy, and if in doubt, make sure there's an adult around to help. Coming up today, we have an absolute treat for those of you with a sweet tooth. Baked oat bars versus banana pancakes. Both are very simple to make and should keep you dessert lovers happy without using lots and lots of unhealthy sugar. So, let's meet our Sky Chefs and get started. So let's begin with a recipe that you can make as just a snack or as a dessert, as Dang shows you how to make his delicious baked oat bars.
Also, I'm going to set my oven. Got my oven set at 200 degrees. So once that's set, here I've got some oats, some eggs, a lemon, some washed blueberries, so they've already been washed, golden syrup, and some milk. And we're basically just going to make a blueberry oat bar. So what we're going to do is we're going to add the oats into a big bowl. So here I've got a microplane which we use in kitchens, but if you don't have one of these, you can always use a grater. Just going to get the zest in there. Just keep your fingers out of the way. If you've got something like a microplane and you haven't used a microplane before, always best to get an adult to sort of support. But common sort of household items, you would always have something like a grater. Just using the sort of finer grater side, that always works. Get that all in there. So I'll keep that lemon as well, because you can just obviously juice that, use it for anything else you would like. Just giving that a mix. Just get the lemons. All right, once that's mixed, just keep that to the side. In another bowl, just crack your eggs. And again, just make sure you wash your hands after touching the eggs, because you've obviously got salmonella around the egg as well, so it's always good, no cross-contamination, so just always wash your hands. Cool, so if you don't have a whisk, use a fork. That's what I've been using now. Everyone's got a fork at home, I hope. Just you want to whisk it, just break down the egg yolk in with the egg white, just give it a good whisk. Once I've done that, just going to go in with the milk. Then also I'm going to get a spoon. Put in the golden syrup. Again, give that a good mix. Cool, so once that's all mixed, what you want to do is bring the big bowl back in, sort of just pour that into the mix. Using a spoon or a spatula, just make sure you get all that mix out of there. You know, at the end of the day, you don't want any sort of wastage in anything you do, because ultimately, wastage is money, it's food, it's still edible, you can still eat it. And you just want to ensure that you're sort of coating the oats, mixing it all in. Make sure you sort of brush down the sides as well. Once you've given that a good mix, you go in with your pre-washed blueberries, put that all in there. And what you want to do at this point is you want to gently sort of mix this in. What you don't want to do is burst the blueberries, because what will happen is when you sort of cook them, you get a nice flavour consistency throughout the whole sort of bar. What I've got here is a small sort of baking tray, just lined up with some bacon parchment. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the mix in. And again, once you get, don't worry, I know it seems like the mix is wet, but it's fine. Because what's going to happen is the egg's going to cook, it's going to bring it all together. What you want to do is just scrape down the bowl, again using your spoon and spatula, getting every sort of last bit into it. And then all you want to do is sort of just gently push that down, even out your mix. Cool. Once that's done, just take that over to your oven. Just pop the door open so you don't get any sort of steam from the heat going into your face. Put that in. Set your timer for 20 minutes. Just leave it to bake.
Now that the oat bars are in the oven, let's go over that ingredients list. For Dang's baked oat bars, you will need 200 grams of oats, 4 eggs, the zest of 1 lemon, 125 grams of blueberries, 1 tablespoon of golden syrup, and 150 millilitres of milk. But before we go back and see how the oat bars turned out, let's check in with Pranab as he prepares his ingredients for an absolute classic, banana pancakes.
So for our next recipe, we've got a very easy pancake which you can whip up in 10 to 15 minutes. Have it for breakfast, brunch. I would say ideal for Sunday brunch because the type of toppings that we are going to go with it makes it ideal. Right? Basic ingredients for pancake would be self-raising flour. Self-raising flour already has a certain quantity of baking powder in it, so which gives it the rising ability. So you don't need to add any baking soda or baking powder for this recipe. It's all there in this flour. So some oil, milk, and a couple of eggs. So we start by putting the dry ingredient in. Followed by 2 cracked eggs. Oil. Just give it a quick mix. Pour in the milk. So the mix is ready. Put that aside. I'm going to use a couple of bananas and mash it, then mix the batter into it. If you want to have some fun, just go in with your hands, mash it, or just use a spatula to break it down. You can take the flour, milk, and egg mix and mix it in little by little. Just make sure that the banana breaks down pretty evenly into the mix. There you have the mix ready. We'll leave the mix aside for a few minutes, let it stand, and let's start processing the strawberries. Strawberries always need to get washed. They come from a farm. They get picked from the strawberry plants. They go into the punnet. They are not processed in any ways. So the moment you receive them, you'd ideally like to wash them and then store them in the fridge. We'll cut a few to be used as garnish. Just pick out the green tops. Easily pull them out. Cut them into halves or quarters. Along with the strawberries, I've got some mix of nuts, some almonds and some walnuts, and some low-fat yogurt.
But before Prainab starts cooking the pancakes, let's look at the ingredients list. For banana pancakes, you will need 100 grams of plain flour, 2 eggs, 300 millilitres of semi-skimmed milk, 1 teaspoon of sunflower oil, 2 medium bananas, 25 strawberries, that's around about 400 grams, 4 tablespoons of flaked almonds, around 50 grams, 4 tablespoons of chopped walnuts, that's around 75 grams, and 1 carton of low-fat natural yogurt. But before we start cooking the pancakes, let's go back to Dang and see how the oat bars turned out.
Cool, so as the timer's just gone off, again, just pop the oven, let the heat come out before you sort of burn your arms, face. At this point, if you're not confident taking this out, again, ask an adult to help you. Looks great. So what you have now is a beautifully baked granola bar. I'll let that sit now for about 45 minutes to an hour, let it cool down, because what you don't want to do is try to take that out now and cut it, because it will all just fall apart. So you just want it to sit there, leave it there for 45 minutes to an hour, let it do its thing and then come back to it.
So whilst that's cooling, it's back to Prainab and the pancakes.
I already have a non-stick pan ready, heated up to medium heat. Just drizzle some oil onto a non-stick pan. Take 1 ladle and spoon it slowly onto the pan. If you have a large enough pan like this, you can easily fit in 2. Let it cook on this slow and medium heat. The pancakes are ready to flip when you see some bubbles on the top. As you can see, the liquid on the top is kind of set. It's idle time to flip it over. You have this nice golden brown color on the other side. Once you flip it, it just takes a couple of minutes to be ready. In the meantime, we'll get our toppings ready here. Once the other side has got lightly golden color, now it's ready. Just stack them up like that. Plate them on a pan. Top it up with some yogurt. Some freshly cut strawberries. There you have your banana pancakes with Greek yogurt, nuts, and fresh strawberries.
Absolutely mouth-watering. But we're not done yet. Back over to Dang as he serves up the oat bars.
So after it's cooled, I'll put it on a white chopping board. Just fold down the parchment paper so it's easier to cut. And this is totally up to you, the way you cut it. What I would personally do is literally just go straight for it. And it's all dependent on you. You can cut it how sort of wide you like them. I'm just gonna cut it this way. Also, what I didn't do was I didn't trim the end off. I kept the ends, because again, that's still all edible. That's all still money at the end of the day. You know, there's nothing wrong with that end. It's a little bit nice, a little bit more crisp. Once I've sliced it like that, just gonna turn it around, slice it straight down the middle. So once I've cut it, just got myself a plate. Again, these are great for packed lunches, a snack, little morning treat, afternoon treat, whatever treat. There you have it.
And before you tuck in, make sure that you've turned all the grills and ovens you've been using off. So there we go. 2 delicious desserts that can be made in only a few steps and without heaps of unhealthy sugar. For more hints and tips on how to substitute ingredients, go to this address. But for now, get healthy, get creative, and get cooking.